if you have a basic understanding of product, you can start to connect right away. You don't have to get it right. Just ready, aim, fire. Get enough. But understanding the principles of More Money Now and how they work is important. And one of the core principles is I just call it the three-legged stool. And I carry a virtual three-legged stool around everywhere I go. And the first leg of the stool is notice, pay attention to what's going on with myself and the environment I'm in, whether it's virtual or in person. Most of mine is virtual. The second is adjust. So as I notice things, notice them and say, well, I'm learning something new here. So I'm not concerned with being productive. I'm not concerned with forcing results. I'm not concerned with getting a client. Or making my company work differently or whatever. I'm thinking about what adjustments do I need to make now? That's my stool. And then the third leg of the stool is calibrate. So I'm calibrating my product with my market as I'm connecting. So I'm realizing, well, I'm not changing what I do because then I have to change what I want. And then I have to start marketing. And I don't want to do that. I have to learn how to sell. And I already know how to do all this, but I don't want to do it anymore. You don't need to even know how. It's not necessary. Unless you work for somebody who makes you. um, but the calibrate is I'm calibrating myself with the other party or the other group, which could be millions of people. If it's like, I hate the idea of following our audiences or fans, because that's the social media influencer economy stuff. But let's face it, if you're broadcasting, there's still people on the other side of that. There's a lot of them and you can't see them, but you want to calibrate with them. And there's ways of figuring that out without using any marketing approaches. So the idea of connecting is wanting to do the connecting based on the product of feeling like, I want to share this with certain types of people. And you figure that out in product. So you know what it is you've got, you know who it's for, and you know why you think, now this is your guess. But if you get that right, you're not going to change that much. You may change the connect approach. You may change how you communicate about it or the way eventually you deliver that based on what you learn as you're connecting with people. So the simple idea of this quote here is this is ultimately selfish. The idea of serving the world selflessly makes absolutely no sense to me. We tried that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's been tried at scale. And I'm not going to get into the history of the French Revolution and the Russian Revolution and communism and all this. It didn't work so well. So self-interest is about knowing who I am and what kind of world I want to live in and what I want to bring to the world. Selfish self-interest gets me to becoming a marketer. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about self-interest around connecting with people who I want to be with and want to be with me because we have a shared desire. All right, sorry, let me get to there we go. So how does Connect work? What you want to do is be able to have productive conversations. That's different from building a sales pipeline or a funnel. You don't want to build a sales pipeline or a funnel with these methods. You want to have productive conversations, whether they're one to many, broadcast, or they're one to a few, which could be like in a presentation room of some sort, or even if you're in an audience, there's a way from the audience to have a productive conversation with the other people in the room, even if you're not in charge of the room, or it's one-to-one. It doesn't make any difference. With Connect, you want it to be productive conversations, not one-way pushes to get somebody to do what you want. That's marketing and selling and prospecting in a way that's going to separate you as opposed to bring you together with people. And then you got to figure out how to funnel them or get them to do what you want. Like, let the marketing department do that. If you want to do that, get a job as a marketer. The pathway to this, to connect, is how now fast. How am I going to do it is in motion. So I'm not going to have a how to step like, oh, it's got to be social media, or it's got to be LinkedIn, or it's got to be Facebook, or now YouTube works, or TikTok. Well, who cares? It's not relevant. It's all of it. Subreddit, it's great. Substack, it's great. LinkedIn's great. Facebook, all of it. What's for you is the question. So, how? And when you're in Connect, you got to be connecting. Now, sometimes I'll sit there for an hour and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I bring out my three-legged stool and I'm thinking, I don't want to do this way anymore. Is there another way? And I'll think, is there another way? Is there another way? That's led to some pretty serious success in my past. I've been doing this stuff since I was 21 years old, and that's how I did it. Now is, no, I'm not taking a break right now. I'm going to take a break from the activity because I'm 50 calls into 100 calls, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Well, stop. But stay in now, meaning stay in your More Money Now Connect time frame. Like, okay, what's a different way to connect? I did this once and I crushed it. Because instead of making the 100 calls or sending the 100 emails, I spent like an hour or two writing one email that was really right. And I sent it and I got a big deal out of it. Now, I won't get into the specifics because I'm going to get into how-to methods, but I'll have supporting materials about how to think through all of these different kinds of vehicles, because today it's so easy because there's so many of them. As long as you're paying attention, you got your three-legged stool of attention, of adjustment, and of calibration, and you know how to use it well and sit on it. It's a virtual stool. You'll be fine. And if you understand the More Money Now principles and the product is making sense to you and resonating with you, and you're connecting in a way that resonates with you, and that's important because you're going to have to keep doing this to succeed. And if you have a red pill moment, you got to deal with that because you won't be able to do anything. But if you're feeling good about what you're doing, you can keep doing it. And you can say, you know, I might not have to do this forever. Like maybe I'm going to do this kind of connecting for a year, and then I'll do a different kind of connecting later. Or maybe this is the connecting method that works for you. So that's the now thing, is you just got to be in the now. You got to keep doing it, but not the thing necessarily that doesn't feel right. So you're making those adjustments. That's the just leg of the stool. Fast is important. All fast means to me is that my attention is on the task at hand, which is more money now, which is almost like a joke because more money now means not chasing money. So it's not about getting more money now at all. It's about feeling prosperous and doing those things, how, now, and fast, and connect, that leads you to one place. Connect leads to one thing, which is to prove the concept. When you have proof of life, proof of concept, technology people call this product market fit, product market alignment. When you have product market fit, you know, because all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, got it. Wow, that's brilliant. Love that. That doesn't mean they're going to buy yet, but it means you're proving the concept with your connect approach. Now you got a connect approach you like. So you're going to move into the schmooze phase, which is, well, there's ask actually. So I'm cutting ahead. So remember the 5 phases. So it starts with product, then you go to connect, which is where we are now. And then we go into ask, which we'll do next in the next video. And then schmooze, which is when now all of a sudden we have shared desire with some people. That's not your pipeline or your sales funnel or any of that crap. Let the marketers do that. But it's a group of people that you've created a shared desire with, so they want to be with you. You don't have to chase after them. You don't have to gamify the conversation. You don't have to use persuasion psychology to get them to get deeper into your funnel because they want to be with you. You don't need any of that brain science stuff. The brain science you're using is, wow, we're connecting with each other. You don't even have to talk to the people. It happens automatically online if you know how to get visible, if you can write well or record or whatever, if you want to do that stuff, you'll get there with it. When you prove the concept, you're really going in the right direction. I think the learning approach for Connect is having an open mind. So I hear this locked mind stuff all the time. Um, in the old days, because I'm old, so I know the old days, we had there were two conferences. There was an inbound conference and an outbound conference. So the people who believed, they had the belief systems. So the inbound people believed inbound is the way, and the outbound people believed outbound was the way. And my way was outbound. And I started feeling bad about it because inbound felt newer. So I'm looking at all the content people and I'm like, well, I want to be an inbound person. So I'm like, well, I want to go to the inbound conference. So I did. And then I started going to all the conferences because I'm in the marketing industry in lots of different capacities over many years. So I started going to everything. And the learning approach is it's all good and bad. So it's about how you do it. And the way to decide the Connect approach is to try things and not have a closed mind. So not say, well, I hate networking. Well, I hate networking. I've done so much of it because that's why I don't want to do it anymore. I don't do it anymore because I've done so much of it. But it works if it's done in a way that fits me in the moment in time. So you may have decided, well, I don't like to do that, or who knows? You try it out. So the learning approach is about the scientific method of inquiry. It's the experiment that matters. Create a lot of experiments. Learn the different options. Keep your mind open. You don't have to decide between networking, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, writing a book. So there's different layers of this. You know, some people want to write a New York Times bestseller. And I'm like, yeah, you should probably be doing that. But don't think about it as like a New York Times bestseller. Just don't gamify it by trying to become a bestseller on Amazon in one of those Amazon writing pods. Like, that's ridiculous. But get your name out and your thoughts, like maybe Substack. So there's a lot of different ways. And how do you socialize the Substack? Maybe you need to get to know some people in your community. Subreddit has some great forums. There's a lot of ways to pull these things together. So I think the learning approach is about don't pick. Keep your mind open. One of the biggest traps to this connecting idea is this idea of funnels, volume, pipeline scoring, opportunity scoring, and path to purchase management with analytics. I've been doing it forever, and I don't do it at all anymore because I don't want to. Now, if you love doing that because that's how you naturally think, you should do it. And you can manage your analytics, you can manage your pipelines, you can manage all of this and do it, then you should do it. So the coaching trap, I name it this because coaches hate doing this stuff. They hate it. I'm a creator. I like to build, I like to create things. I hate doing this kind of stuff, this marketing, analytics and things like this. Those people, I call them analyzing organizers. I love doing it. So the coaching trap is if you're a certain type of person, don't try to become another type of person. So don't worry about all of those things. So it's not about networking versus social media or social media versus networking. The trap is copying and having how-to methods. So the solution and the way out is, what do you want to do? And that's resonance with Connect. The Connect, I can't stress enough. If you're going to connect with people, if it doesn't resonate with you, they won't want to be with you and they're going to run away. And then you're going to have to get them back because you have to learn how to market to get them to pay attention to you. But if it resonates with you and you love the method because you gave it time and you figured it out, it feels right, people are going to notice and they're going to want to be with you. So the idea of how is that it's not about time. We all have plenty of time. I hear people say, well, I don't have enough time. I need to be more productive within the time. Or people will say, well, just keep working, work harder, work more, work faster, work more efficiently, be more effective in your time. They all have different definitions of productivity. It's not relevant to me at all because what matters is the direction. Prosperity is a feeling. Prosperity for me comes from knowing who I am, what I'm here to do, who it's for, and why it matters. So it comes from product, built from an inner journey experience. Now, that's the red pill pathway stuff. You don't have to go that deep with this. You can, but you don't have to. With more money now, it's about direction. It's not about being productive or even particularly efficient or effective at all. It's about being in the right environment. So if you have the right product because it fits you, it's real, it comes from outside of you, you're not trying to glaze the donut of it, and you're just connecting with the right kind of people. You think they're the right people. Connect is about resonance with you and then them. So ask, the next module we're going to do here, the next video is about ask, so you can see if it resonates, so you're not just talking to yourself and they're like, who is this guy? That's happened to me a lot. Um, and in that case, you miss it. And then you just could spend years connecting, talking to yourself. You could have had thousands of meetings, but basically you're just talking to yourself. So ask avoids that problem. So in how, around the connect stage, is you're thinking about your direction. Is I got my product, I'm connecting in different ways, and I'm starting to feel this is right. It's not about whether it works or not in terms of results. You have to divorce yourself from the outcome and think about the resonance. So I'm connecting and I'm feeling this connection in with these people, and I'm reading what they're saying, or I'm connecting with them and maybe even meeting some of them, or we're chatting and I'm like, wow, there's something here. That's productivity. The idea of now is immediately. Everything is now. There is nothing else. There is only now. There is only now. There are spark moments. This is noticing. This is the three-legged stool. This is, oh, I never saw that before. That person said, what? And maybe getting rid of everything I believed because of that one thing I noticed. I'll do that because I'm looking at not believing anything, not being attached to my thought process, in other words. So I'm looking at the world, I'm looking at the marketplace, and I'm saying, what did they say? I'm like, does that resonate with me? And then I'll realize, yeah, it does. What happened? I just saw where everything's going. This has happened many times in my life where I'm like, wow, everybody believes this, and they're all over here. And then I just saw this person, and they said, what? And I'm like, oh my God, it's all going to shift. And I saw that with the social media economy, where I keep talking to people and they're like, this sucks. This Facebook stuff and Instagram, and I can't even tell what they're talking about. I can't even tell what's real anymore. And I'm like, I know. But then I see everybody saying, this is what's next. In other words, the social media influencer economy is our future. And I'm like, that can't be right. That doesn't resonate with me. So I got to trust myself. Well, now I have to observe. And the more I observed, the more I realized that little tiny inner spark of possibility is turning into a flame of achievement for me. And other people who are kind of like, yeah, I think we've had enough too of the way this is being done. Now we got to figure out a different way to do it. Now we know what to do now is work on a different way to do it within the marketplace. Now, fast is important because those little windows and doors just have a way of opening to people who go fast. Now, fast doesn't mean forcing yourself into a productive routine. And I see this a lot with people's posts, particularly on Facebook for some reason, but I see it in other places, definitely on LinkedIn. Its idea is don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. No, it's the opposite. It's give up on your beliefs and realize that those connections you're making with people, ideas, and in this case, objects is just the world, is the quality is what matters. So all of a sudden, that one meeting makes your life. And we see this all the time with people who are really successful. That's the idea of overnight success. You get overnight success when you're ready. You don't want overnight success before you're ready. Then you're going to burn out at 24. I'm just making that. Could be 60. It doesn't matter. But fast happens exactly at the moment it needs to happen. But you've got to see the opportunity as it comes. And you can't do that if you're being too productive. So that stool in connecting of awareness. So self-awareness and attention on the other party. In other words, the market or the person you're talking to, if you're doing things through one-to-one conversations, becomes really important. And when you see that opening, go fast through it. Don't let it go. This is such an important statement. Product market fit is proof of concept. Product market fit means it's not just me anymore. The world agrees. And then you got to look at, well, who agreed? Do I want to be with them? If I don't want to be with the people that agree, I screwed it up. So I missed something. They don't resonate with me. I'm not there. That's not product market fit yet. So here, with a technologist billionaire like a Mark Andreessen, it was noticing the internet and the potential of the internet and seeing he thought with his partner, Jim Clark, how do we make this workable? And they spent a few years trying to figure out, how do we make this available? Now I'm going to go through the whole story. You can read about it. The point is that resonated with them because they're technologists. It wouldn't have resonated with me. I don't care about what they did. I don't care about the Netscape browser and all that. I don't care about technology success. It's not relevant to me. What I care about is what I care about. What you care about is what you care about. That's the product part. So you got to get the product right, which comes from inside you. The market are the people you want to be around. I don't want to be around the world of people on the internet. That's not my market. Now, I'm just using these as examples. Hopefully it's not confusing. But the idea of the market are who resonates with me. Connect is about getting to that, of starting to move into that product market fit proof of concept. Now, the idea of struggle, effort, and challenge is that the fight is not pushing a boulder up a hill. You do not have to struggle. You do not have to make an effort, and you do not have to be up for the challenge if you're already there. I don't have to do that. I spent my whole life doing struggle, effort, and challenge and pushing boulders up hills. And it has nothing to do with having money in the bank because I succeed internally with prosperity feelings with an empty bank account, knowing I'm there. Product market fit, I succeeded, and I could be millions in debt. That's a Steve Jobs approach. Going back into Apple and saying, this is a mess, and he's fine. Because he's like, I know what to do here. He wasn't struggling. There wasn't a big effort, and it wasn't a big challenge for him because he was already there. He'd moved through this phase. I know this is true. I can see it because I understand it because of my experience. Now, your experience may not be this. You may be like, what is he talking about? You may see it as, I don't know how to struggle yet. I don't know how to make that consistent effort, and I don't know how to be up for the challenge. And then that's your job. You have to fight for the ability to struggle and be consistent. You have to fight to learn how to make the effort, and you have to fight to be up for any challenge. I got there years ago because I got the shit kicked out of me. You have to go through it. You have to go directly through Connect. You can't go around it. You have to go through it. Entrepreneurs run into burning buildings, and entrepreneurs jump in the deep end of the pool when it's icy without testing the water temperature. And if you don't want to do that, you're going to have a hard time. However, if you're a coach and you just want to help people, or you're a service provider and you just don't want to do good work, you can still find a way to do it on your own terms. And that means following your inner guidance around Connect. So don't force it. You don't have to force the results. You don't have to force the results. What you have to do is be yourself and see what resonates with you and see what resonates with them. I got to success as inevitable and inevitable success way before I could prove it to anybody. I knew when you get it right, you know fast, but there's levels of it. So I knew a few years before the entrepreneur experience and Red Pill Pathway succeeded that it was going to succeed. I knew, but I worried. Not much, but I had doubt, and then I needed faith, and then I had no doubt, and I didn't need any faith. What I needed was to get deeper in certainty, and then the feeling of inevitable success. And then I had to remove more blocks and barriers that kept me from getting off track in myself because of the fear of running out of money before the money came in. The more deeply I got into the market, where all of a sudden there's more resonance with the connect with me, and then starting to see it coming back to me, I felt the product market fit coming. And when I got there, I got there. And then there was no looking back, even though there were no results yet. So, how do you connect? First, what do I do today? So, you got to have a schedule of some sort, and you do it in whatever way works for you. Don't worry about being productive. Worry about the time in the whole of connect. That's very important. So, what do I do today? How will I do it now? And when should I pivot is what's important. So, what do I do today is what do I do right now? And you got to sit there. And even if you can't figure it out, I remember sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I can't make one more cold call, or I can't send one more email, or I can't reach out to one more person on social media, or I can't go to one more networking event. What do I do today? Calm down, stay in that time block, that time frame, and connect with what looks interesting to you. Release yourself from the pressure of being productive. And think about, how will I do it now? How will I do it now? If you don't know how, ask yourself the question. Help me figure out, how will I do it now? My lights are getting hot. How will I do it now? And I'm going to have some videos to prompt ideas that will support some of this. But it's on you to figure out how to ask yourself, how will I do it now? Listen to the answer and bring that three-legged stool with you, that invisible stool, virtual stool of notice, adjust, and calibrate. When should I pivot? When should I pivot? When you pivot is when you're exhausted by it. So somebody says, well, here's the way. You comment on other people's social media posts, and then all the influencers see you, and then they want to hang out with you. Okay, well, I'm doing that for a while, and I did it for a few months, and then I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. But then I went back to it 6 months later in a very different way, disruptive way, and it felt great. And then I thought, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to do something different. So the when should I pivot is an inner knowing of when to pivot. But you got to be doing something to connect to be successful. Or you get to a phase where what that is not doing anything to connect because you've leveraged relationships. And then the focus is on managing the leveraged relationships. But it's still connecting, and it's fun, and it feels right. There's a million ways to do this, is the point. If you chase money and are in the marketplace to get leads and in the marketplace to get clients, everyone's going to know. The need of people in a lot of these free networking events or communities, or even expensive masterminds, frankly, comes from, I don't have it. And they're all trying to sell each other or get into each other's networks. I've been in a million of these groups over many years. And you'd be surprised how many multimillionaires are doing this stuff because they're trying to get higher up in a pecking order that's an illusion anyways, doesn't even exist. And that's what Jim Rohn's trying to explain here is bring your skill. What I call that is product. My product is the skill, not my how-to method of how to network. You could be smooth too, smooth as silk, but you still have a need of, I don't have enough and I need it. I don't have a need. I have a product. I have a me. My skill, my thing is what I'm bringing. Be visible. And then if it resonates, people will connect. And that's not about just content marketing or something. That's not what I'm talking about. It's about being in prosperity, which is a feeling, as opposed to a need of, oh my God, I need money. I don't have any clients, or I don't have enough clients, or I have the wrong kind of clients, or I want higher quality clients, or I want to be with all the famous people and I'm not famous enough and I'm social climbing. This is what he's saying is keep that out of your connect strategy. Start with prosperity, which is the inner work of releasing yourself from fear. That's what it is. It's the fear. And everybody can smell it, whether they know that or not. Resistance is the challenge. Resilience is the way to meet resistance. The market's going to resist anything new. The market's going to resist anybody new. The market's going to resist change of any kind. People are going to resist other people because they're resistant. All resistance is an opportunity for resilience. And it doesn't mean fighting it and pounding away. It feels impossible, but the airplane takes off effortlessly because it's designed to do that. Human beings are designed to take off effortlessly without any struggle, effort, or challenge by connecting with others who resonate together and come together in a greater force around power through a shared desire. When everyone can be themselves, you have your vision, they have their vision, and you're good with that, and you let people be who they are, and you know who you are, and you're bringing that, and you're connecting, you're allowing the airplane to take off. That's resilience. This is the inner work brought into a marketplace when you're pointing yourself in the right direction with connect. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter how, but you're doing it because you have to be visible. You can't do this in a cave. Well, you could, but you're not going to because that's a very, very specialized kind of skill. And you have to have been a monk for a few years. But you could bring people into the cave with your mind. But that's a whole nother. Now we're getting into some really red pill labs kind of stuff. That's even beyond red pill pathway. So what's a quick start for this? Create a sprint schedule on your calendar. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to do 2 hours sprint. More Money Now connects. Execute fast, iterate quickly as you go. And here's the secret weapon, is do this in groups. However, there's groups called pods. I had a pod on LinkedIn in late 2020, and what it is, it's marketing bullshit. So what we were doing, and I had 235 people in this, and we were commenting on each other's LinkedIn posts, and I watched my LinkedIn metrics go up like this. It was crazy. And I remember after a while feeling like, I don't want to keep doing this. And I noticed a lot of them felt the same way. And then I disbanded the pod, and a lot of them kept going for like years because they wanted to do it like that. And they were just boosting each other's posts. But what I found was one guy became like a top voice on LinkedIn because he was so good at video communications. And I'm like, why is he taking off and I'm not taking off? Because he's better than me at video communications. And the pod got him started. But the idea of the pod can be reversed. In other words, instead of a marketing pod, how about a group of people with a shared desire that are helping each other out? By knowing each other's products, being in a similar, related, or same marketplace, and helping open doors for the other party selfishly, because we're all doing it together. That is a very powerful weapon and something that I have actively facilitated because it's the opposite of a marketing pod, actually, if it's done well. So now we're going to get into next, More Money Now, Ask. And the idea of handling fear is at the core of this. So A lot of the ask problems with imposter syndrome and not saying the right thing or forcing a result with marketing, sales, or prospecting or lead gen techniques that don't work is fear. It's fear of not getting what you want. It's fear of not succeeding. It's fear of the other person not getting it. That was always a big one for me. But handling that fear makes everything really easy. And we can't get too deep into how to handle fear and more money now. That gets more into an entrepreneur experience campus kind of thing or red pill pathway thing. But when you get into the ask modules, you're going to start to understand a little bit more about how you can allow yourself to ask in a way that doesn't feel sleazy. And you're never going to feel like you're selling because you're not. You're just sharing something that you know really well, which is what you've got for the world. And you're connecting in a way that's transparent because you don't have any marketing glaze on your donut or sales techniques. You're not using any of them. So when you ask, you're really asking a question, just like you were talking to somebody.